Hi, I'm here today to talk about the exposure triangle, and for those of you who are not familiar with the exposure triangle, it's a combination of three things: ISO, aperture and shutter speed. The ISO is the sensitivity of the sensor, the aperture is the opening in the lens that lets the light in, whether that's large or small. And shutter speed, again, it's the amount of time that the shutter is open, whether it's a long time or a short time, lets in different amounts of light. Now, the exposure triangle is a combination of all three. If you change any of the values of any of those three, you will have to change the value of at least one other to keep the correct exposure. Let's say you have a base exposure of ISO 100 at f8 at 1/125th of a second. That's your correct exposure. If you now increase the ISO to ISO 200, you've made it twice as sensitive. If you take the shot like that, you will overexpose it. So you have to change the aperture or the shutter speed to compensate. So your new combination to get the correct exposure would either be ISO 200 at f11 at 1/125th of a second, or ISO 200 at f8 at 1/250th of a second. So all three exposures would be the same. The exposure would be correct, but the results would be different. The one where you've increased the aperture would give you more depth of field, and the one where you've shortened the exposure time would give you less movement within the frame. That's how it works. So if you change one, you have to change one of the others to keep the same exposure value, because they're all linked. And that's basically the exposure triangle. I hope that's helped. Hopefully you can take that away and use it in your own photography. If you did like the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you and goodbye.